Okay. Alright, get started today. Not good. Not good at all, actually. I made a mistake and I already clicked start. What have I done? Am I ever going to be able to recover from this? Goodness no. There we go. Problem solved. Fixed it quick. I hope. Hey, not bad. Look at all that. Amateur shooter. Pew pew pew. But what we got? What can we buy? Nothing. I can't buy any of this. It's okay. I don't need it. Picking up where we left off. Coming through chapter 4. I just messed up the lake monster, Loch Ness. Being Scottish, I thought it would be a little bit tougher than that. It was
Sacrificial lamb. You will receive our most sacred body. It begins
passed
now.
out, cooked at
When
the
day
lake.
breaks,
Just,
you two will
take a
join
little
our
nap
covenant to share in my holy blessing
He's a nice guy though.
forever.
He's scared of the dream of that. I don't want that. Made a nice watch though, huh? Never a bad time to be classy. What we got here? Hole in the boat. Not making it to Chicken Island, which again, oh wow, look at that. 2 AI chatbots. I usually only get one, so then we're coming up with that one. Big ups, baby. I think because I have no followers, I don't have to worry about people assuming they're AI followers.
Condor 1 to Roost. Do you read me?
Condor 1? You've been radio silent for 3
You've been
hours.
taking a nap, Leon.
Are you alright?
Yeah, I'm fine. Won't let it happen again.
And the church?
I'm still looking for whatever key I need.
Uh-oh.
Copy that. I'm glad you're okay. Roost out.
You're okay now. When I needed a pillow, you weren't. What is that? Policia. No pictures of his loved ones in the hat. Interesting choice. Yeah, there we are. Starting chapter 4 off. What is this? Somebody in here? Nope, just shotgun shells. Just like every other bookshelf I've looked at. Wait, that doesn't look like the guy from my dream. This house is a bunch of phonies. Every other picture has been that guy. Oop, I already looked at that, huh? Deja vu. Oh no. It's spooky, scary at nighttime. I don't like that at all, you know? I'm a coward, if you can believe that. Just based on looking at me. If you've been watching me play, you know. I run like a coward too. I hate it. Money. Alright. Not the hard part's over. Casually go through here. It's just like in that Shyamalan movie where they got all weird at night. I'm feeling it. They're getting weird. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not as weird as that. Febreze. Febreze. Wow, the old dart thrower. Oh yeah, I'm gonna stay quiet. Uh-oh. Cut it out. Alright. Give me back those 18 darts I just put in there.
yes!
Alright, I feel like I know where this is going.
Twisty son of a bitch.
Yup. Oh, not looking good for old me here. Karate. Alright, so a lesson learned. bolt thrower, still not the move. Which I just don't know why. Let me get that back. Where's the 6th one, you wonder? Oh. Nice. Easy. Totally worth it now. Now that I found all the ammo, I'm not hating. I was about to say something very unsavory about that weapon, but it has come through time and time again for me. Uh-oh. What's not coming in time and time again is a green herb. That would be pretty cool. If the poison glands are removed. Oh, dang, I'm stupid as heck. You see that? I almost got rid of it. Perfectly good snake. Let me open up that mouth. Where's that poison gland? Boy, his eyes are still open, just as menacing. I'm not going to eat that thing. I'm going to eat this thing though. Shoot.
Not looking so good.
You know, and earlier I sold that friggin' first aid spray, talking all that tough talk. I'm not going to need this. I'm not going to need this. And I get my butt handed to me. Looks like I could eat it, you know? I don't know why. This is nice. Looks cozier than the boat that I just slept in. Should have spent some time here. I play like a coward because I'm like one teeny tiny little swing away from being done in. Money. Pull this out for some serious damage, as you know. Bolt throwing champion. Is there a rat in here? I'm gonna get him.
What is this place?
Great question. I was just about to ask you the same. Oh, wrong button. Well, I'm losing him here. Register. Put that over here. Hello? I know they're coming for me. But why me?
Some kind of shrine.
They're just crawling in and out of here?
Same mark from the church.
Oh, those are made out of hands, Leon. Oh, that ain't it. You want one of these keys? Guess not. Just wants more hands. And what do you have?
Is this the key?
I guess so. Well, now that we found the key, we can get off this place. Or get off this place.
It's
Get
the
out of
lake.
this place. Okay. So, super spooky to the south and super spooky to the northeast. Oh, yep, there we go. Got that one. Cracked it wide open. I'm an ace cartographer. It was real easy to piece together the map because of the big spooky skulls on it. Speaking of big spooky skulls, I know they're out here. A book, huh? I don't want to read that. Okay, I'll take that. It's gonna come in handy. Probably. Put it in that handy, that's for sure. Gold chicken egg. See, I knew I was destined to go to Chicken Island. And I have a sneaking suspicion that's exactly what we're gonna find. Gold chicken egg on Chicken Island. Back to the spears. Alright. Okay. I think Chicken Island was over here somewhere. So this should be good. Just gotta throw a phone. Nice. At long last, tourist destination spot just through the roof right now. Could not be happier. One, because I'm almost dead. Two, they're loaded with eggs. And, oh my lordy. There it is.
I'll be taking this.
You're darn right we'll be taking that. Which one of you geeses is shitting these gold eggs? Shatting these gold eggs. Oh, nice, I'll take that too. You Put that down for me? Thanks, friend. Should I kill these chickens? That would be right. Ah, I'm just kidding. Of course I'm gonna kill these chickens. They're up to no good. They're evil. Lay an egg. He did not lay an egg. But I got the gold. Oh, wait a minute. Wouldn't it be crazy if it said more than just one? Sell a gold chicken egg. Never mind. That would be crazy, but that's not what happens. No survivors. Remember, no clucking. I'm out of here. Nobody can know what horrible monstrosities I've committed to chicken people. Beep, beep. Oh, just anywhere's fine. Oh, there we go. Good enough. The game knew I was trying to park. Alright. Eat about... I didn't need to eat that one, I don't think. And stuff. Too much protein. Oh, yeah. Nice. I've never felt so safe. What's your sign? Just kidding, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go check my CoStar app. I'll be right back. Something, something, sun rising? Not bad. We're gonna work with that. That'll be perfect for me, that'll be perfect for you. We're so compatible. How do you feel about chickens, I might ask? Oh, I see. I gotta be smart and write these little things down. Let me start over. Alright. Wiggle, wiggle, wave. Okay. Oh, alright. I see what I'm doing wrong here. So we got the wiggle waves here, and go up the ladder. The letter B. Oh, that's gonna be an important one. That's what throws us off. A little snake on a stick. Oh man, I don't even know where to begin with this. Can't read.
No good.
No good. Alright. The letter B. The DNAs. Snake on a stick. My system has failed me immediately, guys. The letter B and a snake on a stick. Alright, the system never fails. You see that? Pieced it together like a champion. Poseidon. Oh, it's like House of Wax where there are actually people in there. Dang it. I hate when they play that nasty prank on me. They used to do that Raccoon Police Department. I tell you, those STARS guys, they're real sick tickets. Alright, yeah. Ruby, 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 Ruby. Alright. Surprisingly simple. Now I'm gonna leave here without a hitch. Nobody will even know. Not one person can stop me now. Rob, the perfect crime. I feel like O.J. Simpson right now. And upon my white steed, I take off. Well, not a white steed, a bronco. So you get it. 15. Uh-oh. I don't feel so good. Got any buried treasure? I don't think there's buried treasure here, guys. Not the best boat pilot either. Captain? Maybe, I don't know how to do it. Oh, yeah. Free money. Alright, Leon, put it in reverse. Not bad, here we go. Coming over here. Smart answer. I'm selling out. Okay? Not really. I'm getting this. Got that funky key, mister. Open up. Look at the real treasure. Just absolutely splendid. He held his hand up. He was trying to wear it. Mad AF. It don't fit. Huh. There's something up there. Am I stupid and missing something? Nah, I'm okay. Interesting. Just the treasure then, huh? I guess if we had to pick a spot to go, this was pretty worthwhile. Park right there. Oh, no, not good. Stairway to nowhere? Oh, it looks like it was a bridge. Just a mission sensitive. I needed a boat. I'll fix that back to crushing barrels. Ain't no crash landing here.
Won't open.
Oh, that explains why it wouldn't open. I heard people bad-mouthing something. Sounded like they said, I'm not super good at Spanish, but it just sounded like that bolt throw ain't gonna do ish to me, buddy. Oh, he's right. How about that? Oh,
You're serious.
Yep, alright, I take it all back. Oh, it was 8. Oh, not good.
There you go.
What have I done? Such a beautiful creature. Oh, they heard that? I heard the bang of a flashbang. Where are the rest of my darts? Come here, you punk. Come out with your hands up. Oh, yeah. That's easy. I'm gonna get dynamite in. Oh, never mind. I lied. I just want the bolt thrower to be good so bad. Is it such a crime to want to use the most mediocre weapon? Until it starts shooting the explosives off it like he says it can. It's going to be just a chump gun, huh? Is somebody there? I bet those guys didn't have... Well, I guess they blew up with dynamite. I didn't want to guess what would have happened to their heads.
Ahí está. Puedo caminar.
Oh, ain't like that, bud. Huh? Ugh. Yeah, put what I thought. Oh, I ran the wrong way. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Give me back those darts.
Whiskey son of a bitch.
Come on, out with the head. I wanna. Yeah. More of them? Oh, man.
Ahí está.
Alright. That's what the bolt thrower is good for. A quick shot in the old. Oh, he busted out another movie. He pulled out another one. Already on fire. Alright, you gonna sprout one too? Because you did it to yourself. I didn't even do that. Can't get mad at me. Oh my god. Freddy Krueger. Like he's got the hat and everything. The little hands. This guy's aim is unbelievable. Oh my god. Bad driver too. Oh my gosh. My aim is unbelievable. Thanks for coming in here. What's that? McDonald's Fury? Right on. Good to see it. Good to see it. How'd you find me? I'm opening this. You know, I've never opened that door before. The reason being is I've never played this game before. Oh, that was close, dude. That was such a bad throw. I almost dodged into it. You see that? Come on, big fella. Come on. Come on, big dog. You think you get hit by this guy's axe, or you think he's going to come after me? I don't want to get too close. I don't want to engage. Psych. Ah! There's so many of them, you see? This is the perfect time. Catch that, bud. I'll throw another one. I don't even care. I got a lot of them for some reason, bud. Oh, no. My one weakness. Oh, I guess it wasn't a weakness at all, now that I'm thinking it out. Where you at, tough guy? I know there was another one. Oh, all my friends went kablooey. Now you're scared? Nice. I like those stickers. Where'd you get those? Strong silent type, huh? Okay. Now, they're here. And I missed that guy over here. Oh man, more of them. Eat your what? Oh my god. I'm just kidding, I've said that joke before, but it definitely sounds like he's saying eat my booty. Shoot that. Oh yeah. That'll keep him away. Uh-oh. Well, that really didn't take a lot. That might have just been a regular guy, the way he died from just like one bullet to the face. He was like an intern waiting to get the gift that I got for free. They were like, hey, what the heck? Balloon. Blam. My dad? Was that my dad that I just shot in the face? That dynamite guy? And then some. Starting to think if this little bolt gun was so good, it would still be fully loaded, huh? Oh, I'm not even looking around at the little... Dang it. That's why I went back here the first time. Alright. I think I'm just gonna guess. Until I get it right, that might work. A bat. Oh, there's some... Yeah, alright. Looked like a bat to me. Biohazard, the number 8. Radioactive bat 8. Ozzy Osbourne ate a bat. Supernatural, not radioactive. Interesting. What does that mean for me, the consumer? Oh, I see now. I see now. Alright. That looks right. The number 8. Okay. No good, huh? Maybe that was it. And then... Ah, back to the drawing board. I'm never gonna get it. Dropping down. Alright. So we got big squiggle on the left, little squiggle on the right. Got it. Oh, I see. Yin yang. Shoot. Easy. I didn't even need to look, if I'm being honest with you. Oh man, pranked again with the gosh dang grape jelly. Alright. Safe assumption, bro. They're not happy about me taking these eggs. You gonna be okay? Oh yeah, karate time. Hey miss, for what you cooking? Kick him into the fire. The falcon kick, dude. Give him back. Bro, you like that? It really is. There's nothing I can do about it except for get rid of that keyboard. Ah! I tried to muffle it out, you know, but nothing really was doing it. Changed it, all the pickup, all the mic settings, I spent all that time. The answer is to simply just get a different keyboard. Oh, good throw, hot shot. Oh, you're a hoe is what you are. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. How much money? I mean, shoot, it cost me $45 to get the keyboard, so at least that. I'll do it for you. Put that money cash app right now, big dog. I'll smash it for you. Cause I don't know if you noticed, I got a spare one right here, and just in case. Oh man, took a screenshot. No one can know though. Absolutely no one can know. He saw me take a screenshot. You guys saw that? I said no one can know. He saw me take the screenshot. clip what? Me killing that guy? Nice try, dude. That's how you go to jail. Alright, come out here. Rat snitch Kanish, dude. Oh my gosh, what was that? Oh, I guess I'm supposed to just leave, huh? I got everything I wanted from these people. Ahead. Wow. Why on earth would it give me a flash grenade at a time like this? The answer might surprise you. No, I bet they wanted me to have that before I went up there and fought all those little egg spiders. There's no way. Nice. Another beautiful day out on the lake. What do we got here? Throw a flashbang at a fish? Is that what you're saying? Are you sure there's fish in the lake? That big guy didn't get him? Zero fish, dude. You are not an angler. I feel like I've been here before. Gotta go. Not the right place for this little cowboy. If I can even be a cowboy. I'm gonna go back over there. I'm gonna see what my main man's doing. Fine, back, oh, there it goes. First try. See that? I didn't crash into the dock at all.
I've got some new items. Welcome. I've got something new for you, man.
Antique.
I'll buy almost anything.
Almost anything. You won't buy that bolt thrower back? Man. Just kidding. You couldn't pay me to sell it to him.
Perfect. You're a real professional.
I try to be.
What you see is what
I
I've
did do
got.
the shooting range. You want to see my
Good stuff.
Alright.
Got a selection. Pleasant travels.
Check this bad boy out. Alright. Extra bolts, extra rifle ammo, extra rifle ammo. Crazy. But for you, I'll go hit it again. You want to see an S rank? I'll give you an S rank. Can't spell Tiger Fury without S rank.
Welcome. Come to do some shooting, have we?
I ain't riding. You're the only one here. No one's gonna see me ride. What is this now? Captains are worth that. The bombs are worth money. Alright, what do
Some
we
of
got?
the targets are, well, particularly sturdy. One shot.
Here we go.
3, 2,
I'm so scared.
1. Begin.
Oh, no.
Stranger. I'll have to penalize you for that, I'm afraid. Oh, beautiful.
Thanks. Sorry, I just wasn't so sure. Can't trust the sailor. Oh man, he's quick. He's quick is what he is, dude. I don't want to reload now. I just put down like 5 people that didn't even be dead. Nice and easy, ready? Didn't go that easy at all, honestly. This definitely seems like something it wants to do with the rifle, huh? For every sailor I shoot.
Well done.
Alright, I'm gonna try it again. Misunderstood the assignment.
3, 2, 1, begin.
Let me leave. No, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to.
You missed.
No, I
That's
didn't.
not like you.
Come on, boys, we're free. Come on, let's get him out of here.
Beautiful.
So you said that after I killed all those sailors too. He felt bad.
Double kill. Reload.
I'm just mad that I missed the very first shot. What's even the point, you know?
Brilliant.
Wow. Wow.
Incredible.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Oh, I see what I did wrong. Oh no, that's it for this guy.
That'll do it.
Worse than before even.
You can do better.
Alright.
mate.
This time, Lord help me, this is it. Holy cow. Where'd so many emotes come from? That's my #1 follower right there. You want to see some glazing? I'll show you some glazing. I can see the top of my bald head. Alright. Oh, holy moly.
Targets don't just stick around forever, right?
Alright.
Don't let the small
I'm gonna get
fry
at least
distract you
4,000
from the
points
big
on this.
fish.
I'm gonna get 4,000 points. You hear me? That's my dog, dude. He's got my dog. John Wick coming in.
1, begin.
Oh, not it. Oh, not good. Not good. Easy. First shot, too. Alright, he's good. He's as good as dead.
That's the stuff. Reload.
Damn. Come on, let's make it happen.
You're an artist, mate.
Alright. Oh no, here we go. Don't mess up.
Double kill.
No, I missed.
Sorry, mate. That's a penalty. You've been waiting for
Thank
it.
goodness.
A flood of targets.
Thank goodness.
You're an artist, mate.
Take the easy one. Alright, that was it for me, huh? Oh, cool. Wow, it's crazy. I gave up, too. That's true. I did say I'd smash it for $45, so if you want to consider that.
We got a real deadeye on our hands.
That's a pretty good come up from the seeds that I was getting before, yeah? We can agree? Not bad. Alright. What do we got on the
You
machine,
come
huh?
again, stranger.
What we got here? Should I use the gold one? I need your help. I don't know what to do here. Okay. You're the boss. What am I supposed to do with handgun ammo? Well, we've done all we can. 'Cause there's no way I'm gonna go back down there and try to hit every one of them skulls. Not that guy. Oh no, is that the answer? I just gotta...
Got some new welcome. Got some rare things on sale, stranger.
Elegant, you say.
We like our herbs, we do.
This guy likes
Heal a
his herbs.
man, kill a man, they do it all. You'll
Interesting.
get some bang for your buck, I guarantee it.
Attachable mines. Now this is what I was talking about. This is really what's gonna make or break that bad boy. But
Knowledge is power. Remember that, mate. A decent size. But size ain't everything, am I right?
is he flirting with me? He's flirting. Like hard. He wants a piece or no? Let me know in the chat. Does he want?
You'll
Do I
weather
give it
that
to
the
him?
care it deserves, mate.
We're still strangers, so like no strings attached. What's going on here?
If you want a fighting chance out there, you best tune up your kit.
He doesn't have a ring. I have that little dangly, you're right. All my money in a firepower upgrade? Or everything else?
Dazzled, are you? Our
Marvelous.
craftsmanship demands no less. Ruby's all rubbish, it makes no difference. The price, well, that's our choice to make.
Interesting. I only have one of these. And a couple of them, that's nice. What do I need, 3? I can pop them out of the other one, huh? But he's got one of those.
Oh, my back is killing me. Years haven't been kind to us, I suppose. Your valuables won't do you much good in the grave. An
You're absolutely
interesting
right.
choice. I mean, come back anytime.
No, you lost my business, you weirdo. Just kidding, you didn't lose my business. I'm playing hard to get. There we go. Do I mix and match? Do I do it for the money? What are we dealing with here? Fiscally speaking. 43,000, huh? That's pretty good. I'm gonna do it. Sounds like a win. Should I give this like as like a wedding dowry, or how? I don't know how it works in Spain. Do I give him this? A nice necklace for the young chap.
Welcome. What can I interest you
He
in?
just bared his soul to me.
Ruby's all rubbish. It makes no difference.
Makes a little bit of a difference, big dog.
Thank you. A wise choice. I know. I say that a lot, but I mean it.
As long as he means it.
Knife needs care every once
So I
in a
need
while.
anything else
Could be the difference between
besides
life
the
and
pistol
death.
and this bolt thrower? No, right? Alright, here's try-
Try that on for size.
Oh yeah.
There you are. As you wish.
You think he's French? Hey, it sounds like Butcher. Butcher's not Frenchy.
Your weapons are in good hands, mate. Try that on for size.
What am I, Kurt Cobain?
Got a selection of good things on sale. Pleasant travels.
Nice. Yeah, I'll save the game. I'm worth it. Oh, what are those? Cigarettes? Oh no, I can't stream this to children. Wait, it's a rated M game. Alright, done the hard part. Do I go back to the... Yeah, I might as well. Might as well, just to see. You think they're back there, being mean? Damn, I did it again, huh? I feel like I wasted my money on the elegant mask now. I just wanted something for these circular gems. Rascals. What else we got out here? Up here on my right? Am I getting that? Yeah. Well, that's my channel's emote? Oh no. Huh. I don't like that. I'm leaving. Ritzy. I'm gonna go sell this and get a couple more upgrades to that bolt thrower. I can't get enough.
Welcome. What can I interest you in?
Money, mister.
Thank you. Knife needs care every once in a while. Could be that we've been saving that one for the right customer.
I can put a scope on the old bolt thrower.
All my wares are in tip-top shape, I assure you.
I've been lied to before, friend.
Molding a weapon to suit your specific needs. Oh, it's a thing of beauty, isn't it?
Isn't it? Three shots.
There you are, as you wished. Anything else, don't get yourself killed now.
Oh my gosh, I'm done. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna get that thing. Oh yeah. Where's my boat? Oh, it's on the inside, huh? I'm a
That should
pilot,
do it.
you know. You got here, you need something? Hey, I have that. Easy. I'll take it. Oh no, I shouldn't. I'm stealing from an ancient society. Alright. Time to get back on the water. Do that thing I love. Sailing the 7 seas or this one lake. Both of them are the exact same level of fun. Doesn't matter who you are, all oceans lead to this lake.
Took care of her. A job well done deserves payment in kind. Got a selection of good things on sale, stranger. We like our herbs.
Do I want more resources?
Heal a
or do I
man,
want
kill
more,
a man.
handgun ammo?
They do it all.
Probably resources, right? Let's keep it funky, fresh, and exciting.
Oh, I knew you'd choose pleasant travels.
I knew you'd choose pleasant travels, he said. You heard him. So I get some resources, and to offset, I craft more handgun ammo. Easy win with the little keychain. Keychain justified that $15,000 purchase. Beep, beep. Oh no, flip a coin. To choose which cache I should have. Shoot, I don't have one. I'm lacking in coins, my friend. Hit that like and subscribe button, get your boy paid. I just need a penny. Alright, I'm gonna go to this Miro cave. Is that the one? Oh, yeah. Maybe it was. Okay, back in the police hat. All these same angry old people that were out here. Well, they're dead now. And I guess, I don't know if they were old. They just, you know, maybe the progress adds a couple years. Up and around. Okay. Don't have a knife. I do have a knife. Let's see. Okay. Was making mines the smartest use of this? We'll make. Nice. I got more mines than darts now. Am I stupid? I gotta be. I got to be. Because I'm understanding that right? Nothing up here? Wasted my time. And I can hear bats and rats, but I can't eat them? Why not? Pick up that hat one more time, I'm gonna keep it. And trust me, nobody wants to see that. Okay. I see the arrows of my way almost immediately. I don't know how to read a map. Those comments, something, something, expert cartographer, you may have heard. Jamie, strike it from the record. This looks like one of them Skyrim caves. Where the Dwemer at, you know? Oh. Meeny, meeny, miny. Left hand, left head. Okay. Right hand, right head. I'll be taking that. Hello.
Condor 1 to Roost.
Yow!
Found the key to the church.
You wanna
Copy
like
that.
hoot and holler
Now
in the
go
middle of
get
the night?
Baby Eagle.
Like
Right.
get louder?
No time to chat. I'm going in.
Get
Condor
crazy?
1 out.
Get buck wild or... Dude, I can't do it. I can't do it. No, they're gonna take me back to rehab. Maybe Amy Winehouse. Forgot to look at the map. Okay, and I hit the wrong button. Wake the household up. Like my wife? She's asleep. It's 11 o'clock at night and I could be screaming. Just make the dog bark. Well, actually, I don't think he'd want to bark. Look, see him back there? Oh, that's a blanket. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. He didn't want me screaming. You think about that. That's who you're affecting. That's who you want me to scream at? Tough guy. Okay. Okay. What if I didn't kill the lake monster? What if he comes back to get me? Let's go through the place. Nope, I don't think this is the place at all. Or is it? I really might be too dumb to play it. Keep climbing up. Ah! Guess not. So this is not the place. Common misconception, I guess. And by common, it's because I'm stupid and I've been here before. Oh, okay. I gotta pick the long way back. Points. Oh no, I'm gonna get super that one. Is this where you live? Uh-oh. You know what? Let's just get it over with. Come on, fella. Can't see me? You blind? Oh, he's blind now. That went right in the eyeball. Yeah, they're like mosquito bites. Oh no, I missed. I'm done for now. Don't you say that. Ain't no outsiders here, mister.
Twisty son of a bitch.
Got dark and twisty. You know what time it is. Lifetime supply of harpoons time. Come here, big fella. got ammo like that. I got ammo like that. And I'm having doubts about you. But everybody? Usually it's the whole village, you know? So like that's kind of nice that they're like, just letting me breathe. Kill a couple guys, you're good, man. That was it. You got the treasure. Kill a couple of guys. I don't like how long it took me to turn that light on, but oh yeah. Now I'm robbing a house. This is what makes me feel like this is the real reason he gave up being a police officer. So I could steal gold bars. Definitely not cursed Spanish gold bars. Like the whole plot to Pirates of the Caribbean, but alright, look at this. Oh yeah. It's the album, that Korn album. Must have just got it here. Or actually, when this game was released, it was probably pretty new. Alright. You know what? I raided these houses earlier. I'm not even supposed to be here. Oh man. Trapped forever in a fucking prison of my own design, dude. Get me out of here. The floor plan's too crazy. I will be the victim. No more. These bear traps will not stop me. Straight ahead. Click. Nice. Easy. Well, it's never that easy, is it? What am I forgetting to do? I can see it now that I've zoomed all the way in. It looks like maybe I just go up that way. Was there a dock over there that I just missed? Oh yeah, let me get some, what is that? Some shredded roast beef, corned beef sandwich, Rubini. 1899 was a good year for cinema too. A lot of people don't know that. As a matter of fact, I do got the key to that. How exciting. What is that? Pearl necklace. That's exactly what I'm going to give that shopkeep. Okay. So this was the wrong way again. But those men are dead still. That's why they were cutting me a break. They're like, this poor idiot. They saved the challenges for the real missions. Oop. Aha. Aha. Right ahead. Learned about the layers on the map. Now I'm going to bring it back. The expert level cartography. That much I can tell you. I assure you. Alright, I got lost again. Well, I just missed the mark. Straight ahead. I saw it that time. Don't do that to me. Easy, first try. One click. Yeah. None of these keys are gonna fit, huh? It's just a dresser. Craftsmanship can't be so good that a mine won't blow a hole in it, you know? Hey, mister.
Oh, nothing. Welcome. Well then, what can I do you for?
12 grand, I guess.
Your valuables won't do you much good in the grave.
That's crazy. I leave for 5 seconds and I make a ton of money.
I'll
mister.
buy it at a high price.
Premium. You said no AI? You want me to mod you up and you can kick them off or no?
A well-tuned weapon can make up for a lack of skill, friend.
Who's got a lack of skill, mister? Yeah. I feel like if I don't keep this pistol to the end of the game, it's gonna get me a lot of money when I sell it. I'm gonna immediately max out whatever revolver I get and go. But maybe I need a rifle, huh? 16 grand to start.
What you see is what I've got. Wish your enemies sweet dreams from afar, with a bullet straight through their heads.
Right, dude, airheads. Scope. Now, do you think the high power scope is worth it more so
What's
than
that?
the other
How
scope?
have we procured these curiosities?
I'm not the NRA, dude. I don't care how you got
wanna
them.
know, mate.
Alright, so I get...
All yours, stranger.
Yeah. Okay.
Your weapons are in good hands, mate. I'll see you right.
Take that.
We're starting to get an idea of your tastes, friend.
Nice, nice.
Ruby's all rubbish. It makes no difference. The price. Might want to take care of any leftover errands before going this way. Be ashamed.
My errands. Alright, saved again because now I'm a dumb old brain. I figured out where I'm going.
What if?
Right? Yeah. Back through the quarry. Let me reload. I know there's a bunch of these little rascals up ahead, you know? Oop. Where's the grenade at? Got that. Nah, I'm not falling for it. I'm not
Take a
falling
look.
for it.
Something's bound to catch you. You're right.
And then some. Okay. Off to a bad start immediately. It's just like navigate with my heart. Alright. Who lit these fires? That's where the wolves were messing me up. No, there's no wolf bodies. It's a neat. Oh. Alright.
Hiya.
Nice. That's all it matters for me.
Shit.
Bring him out.
Gloria a las plagas.
A witch doctor. I think I know what's happening here.
Jesus Christ!
I don't think he looks like that.
God damn, you're a big boy.
Somebody's home. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, this is the other one. I didn't get a chance to run in here. Somebody's home.
You got worms too?
Oh, no. Oh, that's not good. Bad bugs, bad optics. Oh, that one didn't even have a mine on it. Oh, man, not good. Oh, no. My dog. Come on, big homie. We're gonna get it. Oh. It's a bold choice, you know. I don't know if I would have chose to jump on top of this giant thing. Well, I'll tell you this much. What are you trying to tell me, dog? Why does that happen? That's my dog. Yeah.
You wanna help? Because I could use it. That's what I'm talking about. Good boy.
Oh, what the? I've got so self-betrayed. Get up there. Oh, fatten him up. Come on, big fella. Oh, I shouldn't have jumped right in front of him. That's like the worst place to be, I think. That's the secret to the game. Shoot really good. Hit the bullets. Alright, dog, do one for me. Oh, dog, you were supposed to do one for me. As you can see, see, sometimes the dog will let you down. When you need. Hot shot. I got lucky because the rope was around his neck. If that wasn't there, or if they fed him like.
God damn. That was almost a pancake. Okay.
I was
Let's get to
almost
that
a
church.
pancake. Like that. Where's my dog? My dog cool? Over here? Dog! You're alive! Wait, am I going the wrong way? No, I'm going the right way. Right? I don't know. I never know. Man. Wrong way. There we go. Trust your gut. I am devastated by the loss of all of my bolts. Poorly managed. Not a single one. Well, just the one hidden. But when they explode, that means you don't get to pick them back up, which is something I had not considered while launching them flagrantly, I guess. Just any which way I wanted. Like, oh man, my dog turned on.
Oh, you're kidding me.
It's because my dog was the best of them. My dog had to turn into the evil. It took a giant hitting my dog. Just the way my dog just be a good old dog, man. No, he's. How do you? Huh? You come in here and drop the spoilers on my game? I did hear him just now bark, so I have to believe you. But you're on thin ice.
Ashley Graham! I'm here to help.
Oh, found the Graham. If my calculations are correct, this should make ice. Oh no. Four bolts. Worth it? Worth it. What else am I gonna use these kitchen knives for? You also saw that, huh? Oh, found another knife. You know what that means? I'm making more darts. They're like knives I can shoot. Unfortunately, I've come to the realization that resources are required. Blue dial. Hey, off to a good start. Got a dial. What else we got? Submachine gun rounds. Did you also find yourself a green herb in whatever you're playing over there, McTaggart Fury? Why on earth are there 5 bolts right here? After I just crafted some. Was I already in here shooting my mouth off? Seems a little early to be pulling switches. No herbs in Gears 3. My gosh, you're right. Okay. I feel like I know where that blue dial goes now. Oh, Gears 2. Okay, my bad. Oh, okay. really wish I knew what I was supposed to be doing with half of these missions, or these little puzzles here. Oh, I think I see it now. I'm just kidding. You know darn well I don't. It's all coming together now. It puzzles mean nothing to me. Send your strongest men at once. Am I missing some treasure down here? Better not. Oh, okay. Easy puzzle, huh? Alright. I'll show you a hard puzzle. What am I doing here?
Ashley, you in there?
That's what I'm doing in here, dude. I'm looking for the president's daughter. I smashed that? It's not. It's a tough church window. That's where the Dobermans come in, huh? Sigma Gamma Phi. Phi Theta Kappa. Alright. I'm just gonna leave the phone though. An omen? I can't reach that? Crazy. It's definitely upstairs, I know it now.
Ashley.
Fred?
Ashley Graham, are you in here?
Fred Durst, is that you?
Just let me go.
Listen. Easy with that.
Hey, like a chomp.
My name's Leon. I'm hearing the president's orders and
Which president, right? El Presidente?
that went well. Hey, it's dangerous outside. You need to listen to me.
What is that? Over there?
It's just an angry mob. I killed a giant guy just a minute ago.
Pursue them. The lost lambs are escaping. Deliver unto them
I'm gonna deliver unto them an exploding dart.
salvation.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Salvation. Did you see that too with your headache? That's crazy. We synced up. We just met. We synced up. Wow, what a team. That's it, huh? What a way to end it. Because I'm not doing another chapter. Not until Sunday. Will I beat this mob? Are they gonna mob deep on me? They're gonna take turns? I don't know. I hope not. Thanks for coming in and watching this while you're playing Gears. It's been fun. Appreciate it. We will next time. Wait, I don't want to use the voice changer, but I will. Gonna cost money, you know what I mean? So I can't do that. Alright, well, I'm out of here. Goodbye. And I love you.